Thanks for joining us again on the newsroom. Two yet to be identified persons have lost their lives, while another one was injured in a fatal auto crash that occurred early Tuesday in Ogun State. The accident occurred close to Christopher University around the Mowe axis of the Obafemi Owode local government area of the state at 7:44 a.m. Police Public Relations Officer of the Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, Babatunde Akimbi, confirmed the incident in a statement. He said the vehicles involved in the crash include a Mitsubishi Lancer with a registration number AJW 465AA and a truck. He adds that the bodies have been taken to a private morgue in Shagamu, while the injured victim has been rushed to another private hospital for treatment. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal filed by Timi Alaibe challenging the emergence of Governor Doyodiri as the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party in the 2019 governorship election in Bayelsa. Alaibe, who had lost the suit at both the Federal High Court in Owerri and the Port Harcourt Division of the Court of Appeal, had in the suits challenged the participation of two delegates who voted in the primary that produced Diri as the party's candidate. Ruling on the matter on Tuesday, a five-man panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Olabode Rhodes-Vivour, dismissed the appeal. In the preliminary inquiry preceding the hearing, Justice Rhodes-Vivour panel informed the plaintiff that his case could not be categorized as a pre-election case that the court could entertain, but about an internal affair of the party, which the court lacked jurisdiction to hear. A United Nations peacekeeper from Rwanda has died, with two others injured after an ambush on a convoy by militiamen in northwest Central African Republic. The UN said in a statement that the attack was allegedly carried out by the Return, Reclamation and Rehabilitation 3R armed group. Akua has been rocked by violence since 2013, when mainly Muslim Seleka rebels ousted then-President Francois Bozize, prompting reprisals from mostly Christian militias. Last year, the government and a 14 armed group, including the 3R, signed a peace accord, but like previous agreements, the agreement has shown signs of falling apart. The Apex Court has also struck out a suit challenging the legality of virtual court proceedings. In the matter filed by the Ekiti State Attorney General, had asked the court to determine if the conduct of virtual proceedings in court is not a violation of federalism provisions of the 1999 Constitution and a violation of the constitutional provisions on fair hearing as it relates to the conduct of criminal trials in public. But in a unanimous judgment on Tuesday, Justice Olabode Rhodes-Vivour declared that, as at today, virtual court sittings are not unconstitutional. The issue of the constitutionality or otherwise of remote or virtual court hearing has dominated national discussions since the publication of the guidelines of the NJC, which recommends virtual court proceedings for courts in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reconstitution of federal government representatives on the boards of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas and the Bonny Gas Transport Limited. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timpreye Silva, announced this in a statement on Monday. He explained that the reconstitution of the boards became imperative since the present board members were inaugurated in 2005. According to him, the new NLNG board has Edmond Tokuru as chairman, while the group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Military, and three others are members. Let's take a break here and we'll be right back. To stay with us.
Trade is a force for good. I've seen it with my own eyes. Its ability to improve millions and millions of lives. I've spent my life working with teams around the world to deliver reforms, broker agreements, improve systems, fight corruption, and empower economies. Coronavirus has changed the face of the global economy and left many countries facing difficult choices. This is a critical moment for world trade, and the WTO has a vital role to play. It's time to come together. It's time for the WTO to listen to its members, seek common ground, hunt for solutions, rebuild trust, and return to its founding mission. My name is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and I'm the woman for this job. I want to bring a fresh pair of eyes and ears to the WTO and make it fit to thrive for the 21st century.
The number of COVID-19 cases in Nigeria have exceeded 33,000 following the confirmation of 595 new cases in the country. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disclosed this on Monday night, saying the new infections were recorded in 19 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Lagos maintained the lead position with a total of 156 new cases, followed by Oyo and the FCT. Meanwhile, states with fewer cases include Ogun, Taraba, Gombe, Kebbi, Cross River. Following the 595 new cases in the country, the total COVID-19 cases in Nigeria now stand at 33,153. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Akua says he and members of his family have recovered from COVID-19. Akua had contracted the disease alongside his wife 2 weeks ago and shared the news of his recovery via his Twitter handle on Tuesday. Akua and his wife tested positive for the novel coronavirus about 5 days after their daughter contracted the disease. He appealed to residents of Delta to abide by all guidelines aimed at curbing the spread of COVID-19. Just days after it reversed its decision to allow graduating students to return to school, the federal government has now issued new guidelines for the safe reopening of schools at every level in the country. Chairman, Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, announced that the new guidelines must be implemented by all stakeholders concerned. Part of recommendations in the 52-page document includes that learners and children be divided into small groups to mitigate risk of contact and maintain a distance of 2 meters from one another.
The PTF has followed with keen interest the conversation around the resumption of schools. We recognize that our children are precious and we would not do anything to compromise their safety. The Presidential Task Force has assessed the circumstances and has put in place necessary guidelines to be followed, while the managers of the sector have the responsibility of drawing up the protocols and determining the dates. We urge Nigerians to follow closely the critical steps being taken by the Federal Ministry of Education in conjunction with other stakeholders. Further to this, the Federal Ministry of Education has released guidelines for schools and learning facilities reopening after COVID-19 pandemic closure. The guidelines clearly spell out major things to consider before schools and learning facilities shall reopen.
The National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools has appealed to the federal government to review its stand on the suspension of 2020 public examinations. In a statement on Monday, representative of the body, Yomi Odubela, said there is a need to avoid a situation where Nigerian students will be forced to seek an alternative of writing the examinations by approaching neighboring countries such as Ghana. He added that such will not be good for the image of Nigeria. Odubela also noted that private schools under NABS are ready to resume classes while strictly complying with the safety protocols prescribed by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. The Nigerian government has announced that the 5th evacuation flight for its citizens stranded in the United States of America is set for July 31st. This was contained in a statement by the Consulate General of Nigeria on Monday and shared with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema. The Ethiopian airline with flight number ET547 will depart George Bush International Airport, Houston, Texas on Friday, July 31st and arrive Murtala Muhammed International Airport, Lagos on Saturday, August 1st. Let's take a break here and I'll be right back with business stories. Do stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app. If you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Effective August 1st, banks will be able to debit the accounts of loan holders in other banks to settle defaults. This is according to Global Standing Instruction (GSI) guidelines published by the Central Bank of Nigeria on Monday. The CBN said the GSI, which was developed in collaboration with stakeholders, should be the last resort used by a bank to settle loan defaults. The Apex Bank said the directive would apply to eligible loans granted from August 28, 2019. According to the guidelines, the account types that the standing instructions can be applied to include individual and joint savings accounts, current accounts, domiciliary accounts, investment deposit accounts, naira and foreign currency, and electronic wallets. NBA star Russell Westbrook says he's tested positive for COVID-19 as the league gears up for its return in Florida later this month. In a statement released on Monday, Westbrook said he was feeling well and was in isolation. He's one of the several NBA players to have tested positive for COVID-19, joining a list which includes Brooklyn's Kevin Durant, Boston's Marcus Smart, and Utah Jazz duo Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. And that's it on the newsroom at this time. Thank you for watching.